Chilly here with Sirius Talis Moon. This is Moon Hour, and the Moon is 9 degrees Scorpio. Midheaven 1 degree Sagittarius, and Ascendant 16 degrees Aquarius, ruled by Saturn. Neptune is in Pisces, retrograde, and is going to go to the last degrees of Pisces with Saturn and finish things from 2012. So, have you felt the Neptune Pisces exhaustion? It is. It's real. It's real. Let's try to do November astrology. But I'm going to be original. Start from December astrology because I've already touched on a lot of things in November, particularly the placements of Mars after the ingress of the Sun. But I knew why. Because December 10 Neptune turns direct on 29 degrees Pisces. We're going to have a full moon in Gemini December 5, 13 degrees. Neptune turns direct December 10. Mercury conjoins Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio after being retrograde. Catches the Mercury retrograde of November. Mercury enters Sagittarius December 12th. And the Mars ingresses to Capricorn December 15. The new moon Sagittarius at not too far from the galactic center. Lilith ingress to Sagittarius December 20. Then we have the ingress of the Sun to Capricorn and Venus to Capricorn. Okay. First of all, Neptune direct. Before the lunations even. December 10, Neptune already turns direct in 29 degrees Pisces, where it already is right now. Okay, it's going to cover part of that degree, not all of that degree. Saturn will already be direct. It goes direct on November 25 degrees Pisces. And Uranus, that also ingresses to Taurus. I think it ingresses already this month. The Taurus still retrograde at 28 degrees Taurus, opposing Mercury and Lilith in Scorpio. Moon in Virgo. People are like, targeted individual, voodoo weapon, science fiction level weapon. That's the astrological forecast. That's okay. That's 7th of October. War attempts to kidnap, whatnot. That's the astrological forecast. Now, let's say somebody told me if I had to work for a corporation and do astrology, within a minute, my throat sores. Over nothing. What can I do? So, Mars will be on the galactic center, and squaring Neptune. Okay, Mars at the end of Sagittarius, squaring Neptune. It's a closing square with Neptune as Neptune turns direct. which means that there can be a sense of loss or defeat regarding something. Mars with Neptune can tend to dissolve or turn the action mythical. Alternatively, you see, with Mars Neptune, there can be either a fated loss, kind of like fighting windmills, or something going viral, an action that Neptune makes megalithic. But there's a certain act for freedom where the ruler of both Neptune and Mars is Jupiter and is trining Neptune. The moon is leaving trine to Neptune from Leo. The sun is 18 degrees Venus, 12 degrees Sag. Lilith and Mercury opposing Uranus. Okay, it feels like the Neptune-Jupiter moon would be more accentuated than the Mars. Okay, it can be even for some people. Somebody tries to create conflict, even religious conflict, and it falls flat, or it is being remediated in some way by Jupiter. So the mark of Neptune going direct has some sort of spiritual conflict of arguments or war around a spiritual or medical or channeling or mafia. I don't know. Okay, things of Neptune, or whether something real, not real, then that would be the keynote of Neptune during its shade period. But Mars is a closing square, which means it will be in closing sextile. It simply means that Mars and Neptune disagree. Okay, so it can be it's that what it means. Okay, it means that there's certain disagreement between Mars and Neptune. Mars might even feel kind of like fighting windmills with that one, but it is only taking us to the closing sextile when Neptune will already be in Aries. And this means, you know what? Let's take a look at 2026. When is the ingress of Neptune? Neptune ingresses Aries January 2026. And Mars is in the closing sextile and conjuncting Pluto. Uranus 27 degrees Taurus, which means Saturn is still almost catching up, which means that the December closing square in January becomes the closing sextile. So now Mars conjoins Pluto, which can be overwhelming because Mars is before the conjunction with Pluto. Now, this cycle of Mars and Neptune, because Mars will be ruling Neptune, at this time, but informed by Pluto. There's going to be more information about the techniques that are used to control people. The technology, the techniques, the cult. And then Mars separates from the agreement with Pluto to be informed by the technologies or by the taboo things that Pluto addresses here. Yes, in that regard. The Mars-Pluto conjunction. Mars reveals Pluto's taboo topics. Okay? But Pluto transforms Mars. In conjunction, those energies can be challenging to deal with. Um, and with a century of Pluto sextiles Neptune, then can be something traumatic that someone is compulsive about but dissociative from. And it can take time to understand what it is. It has to do with real estate, finances, occult, psychology, control, okay. So that's basically the timestamp of the Neptune ingress back to Aries, and Saturn ingresses to Aries February 14, 2026, 0 degree begins the conjunction, which will last until March, I think the end of March even. So this is another... Oi. No fucking way. Okay. Guess who has a solar return? I can't believe it. Head of NATO has a solar return on the day. It's not. It's not happening. Mark Rutte, postpone your birthday. A moment of silence for the children of February. Cannot make this up. Oh my god. And it's just, there's the beginning, it goes from Saturn return, second Saturn return to Sadhusati. And I'm like, it's a night chart. Oh my god. And Oh, damn. This this can't be real. Oh my god. Yeah. The world is worlding. Um, where's Mars? 16 degrees Aquarius. The Sun 25. Separating from conjunction with Deneb-Algedi. With Saturn ruling over Pluto, Mars, and the Sun. Pluto 4 degrees Aquarius. And the Moon. Um, I think this will have to do with Palestinians because they have Moon in Capricorn. Or Hamas, I don't know. Mars is in Aquarius, but is not making any particular aspect. The Sun is squaring Uranus. Uranus already direct in Taurus. And Venus in Pisces, exalted next to Rahu, with Mercury, 11 degree Pisces. This is kind of like when the world is supposed to completely collapse. um, one of my solar returns was around I think returning of the first kidnapped, but before that, I don't know if it was the boots on ground to Gaza. So that was that was not good. That's a solar return. Now, when people for the folks that have solar return around the Saturn Neptune, um, it means that in general, the entire year is going to be kind of like the Soviet Union, but on a world degree. um, but solar return just means that this is this year's birthday. Okay, that's what it means. Um, anyway, that year is going to be messy, so it's just that some of you are going to feel that messiness more so than others, particularly if you've got planets in Capricorn or in Aquarius in the first decade of Aries. That Lilith, I don't think is still. I have Lilith in earlier degree, and I don't think it's that bad. Um, can be, I don't know. Um, and yes, that's practically okay. That's practically the big deal. Um, it's just that this transit is going to be a big deal. Okay, but having a year around, for example, when I had Uranus square Saturn on my Sun for 2-3 solar solar years, then that was I think a bigger deal. Okay, no, not in this, not in this, but um, but that was holding a Saturn, holding Uranus Sun for 3 years on and off on a solar return. That is challenge. While it's square Saturn, challenging. Um, so some of you are just going to feel that. Yes, it's okay. Yeah. Some of you are going to, of course, the mother interference. That's it. Not yet. It's just, I'm recording. 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 Fuck that, okay? Fuck that. People laughing at me because I can't fucking shower and wash my hair because of satanic ritual abuse, and my mom is making fun of that. Remember when I covered the NATO chart and every time we talk about Mark Rutte, my mom would come in the room? But back to the solar return, okay? Calming world words. I know it doesn't sound so promising, but the thing is just the difference between the dumbfuckery of that entire year and your particular solar return dumbfuckery is just that it's going to be like a slightly bit more felt. Okay. Everything is so dumbfuckery around that it's just you're not even going to feel that it's slightly bit more felt because it's kind of like everything's dumbfuckery. um, so that's the interest in astrology. I mean, you can do November astrology, but it's kind of like that's the interest. Like that's what everybody wants to hear about it. When is that? When is that conjunction? Um, Wait a second. This is annual 2026. Let's have a peek. Uranus re-enters Gemini on April 26, 2026. What happens with March 30? Somebody had either a temper tantrum or a premonition about March 30. Venus ingresses into Taurus. Saturn is already on our Lilith, yes. Mars is 2020 in Pisces. Moon 11th degree Virgo. Uranus. Oh! But why does it Rahu in Ketu on degree 7? It's not eclipse or anything like that. Venus ingresses into Taurus. Uranus will go over that degree way before that. Like, why March 30? Chiron 25, Sun 9 degrees, Aries. Square in Jupiter, Lilith 11 degrees, Sagittarius. I don't understand this election. Because of Mars, like 22, in Pisces. Jupiter. Jupiter is direct by then. I don't see it pinpointing anyone in particular. No, seriously. No. I don't know. I have no idea. People elected March 20, March 30. Nothing. Okay, not that I see anything. There, Mars is 22ing. It doesn't touch any particular. Not Trump, not Mark, not Wilders or anything like that. Ook niet mee. But it wasn't targeted like towards me. Um, mm, 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 mm. What else? Maybe there will be some sort of a reveal that somebody's afraid of, or is there like court that day? I don't know. Uranus ingresses to Gemini April 2026. We can take a look at that. We can take a look at the eclipses of 2026. First of all, most of us have made it to 2025 almost. Okay, but 2025 is almost done, and most of us are still here. Um, Neither of us was supposed to be. Included those who were sent to target us. A good thing, but so Uranus ingresses with Venus. How romantic! Venus flirtatious at Gemini, but next to Sedna. Jupiter is 18 degrees Cancer because something has to go toxic. Sun, Taurus, Mercury, Aries, Chiron, 27 degrees Aries. Come on, let's look at the eclipses. On the full moons, it's not gonna tell me if something is an eclipse or not. But there's the eclipses here. There was the eclipses here. Eclipses. Or does it have... No, not with the monthly summary. I know what I'll do. I'm going to find the first eclipse. And that's how. Solar eclipse in Aquarius, February 27, 28 degrees Aquarius. Solar eclipse and Saturn with the Saturn Neptune. That's the first eclipse we're gonna have with the direct Saturn Neptune in Aries for good. I don't remember if the previous ones were. But this is an eclipse that is going to be kind of impressive. And Pluto has to square my Venus because these are not small troubles, okay? I also deserve empathy. But this is an eclipse where it's going to affect all the big things that are supposed to collapse in the entire world. So that's something to look forward to. It's going to be one megalithic eclipse. Now it's an eclipse. One of my predictions, this decan of Aquarius has to do with MK Ultra and MK Often. Okay, so Yes, I don't, and again, probably they're going to try something big on a worldly scale, kind of like the mass psychosis type of thing. But also, there are going to be megalithic, epic, classified project fails. So Neptune tends to bring dual quality with it, and conjunction is where things end but also begin. So think Soviet Union fall was because of intelligence fall. Okay, they took down the drug lords, but the Soviet Union went down with them. Drug lords beware! Drug lords beware! First they take the drug lords, then they take down the regime. Want to say what's the connection? I guess without drugs the regime is not operating. Um, so so that solar eclipse, that's the first eclipse. And let's see if we have from here more eclipses. And March 3rd, lunar eclipse in Virgo, 12 degrees Virgo. With Mercury in Pisces. So the ruler of Ketu with Rahu, it's going to be a lot of letting go of. It can be drugs that induce religious experiences. I don't know. This megalithic stellium in Pisces, Jupiter retrograde, 15 degrees Cancer. Hmm? Venus is on my ascendant, what do I care? Next to my ascendant. Thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you. Yeah. So Mercury retrograde with the eclipse. I don't. Up until now, I didn't. Okay. Now, moving forward. Moving forward. Yeah, the eclipse in Pisces is just. It's just an eclipse in Pisces. Like I didn't see anything too. It's not like the eclipse in Aquarius is the big one. The one in Pisces is like a lot of Pisces things with Venus in Pisces and Mars in Pisces. So it's just going to be these, maybe artistic related things or the rest of the weird shit that happens in the world. But other than that, I don't find it too disturbing. It cannot be that we only have 2 solar eclipses. Something is not something in for me. Something is not something in for me. um, yes, I knew I missed one. Solar eclipse in Leo, August 12th. 20 degrees Leo, with Ketu conjoining Regulus. Lilith in the background on the galactic center, which is an interesting position for Lilith to be in. Mars 0 degree Cancer, squaring Venus in Libra, which opposes Neptune. The solar return doesn't make too many aspects. The solar eclipse, it doesn't make too many aspects. Other than being a solar eclipse in Leo, which is probably going to give us, a couple of more Epstein lists, a couple of more Me Too. Like everything in Leo goes Me Too. So probably something along these lines. With Ketu, we might be purging some monarchy. Nothing too significant. Again, Sun ruling over Jupiter, Mercury, and of course the Moon. Around 0 degree Pisces with Jupiter closer to Ketu. But some monarchs will probably have to go because of, or really Regulian figures will have to go because of exposure. That's basically, somebody might lose mandate of the heaven. I don't know who. And we have lunar eclipse in Pisces, August 28th, with Rahu already in Aquarius. So we're going to have Rahu ruled by Saturn, Ketu ruled by the Sun. Those are the sets of eclipses to say, bye bye leaders. Now, it's not a guillotine, okay? Doesn't mean that anybody necessarily will die. Some for sure will, but not everyone. People with 29 degree ascendant Leo. It's not saying this, not saying this. And so Mercury would lead with Virgo. And Moon in 4 degrees close to Fomalhaut. Yeah, squaring Uranus and this in a T-square with the Sun, of course. Some Virgo leaders. Ruler of Rahu, Jupiter is closer to Ketu. Trine in Saturn. Chiron is already in Taurus. And Lilith 28 degrees Sagittarius. Some people may it can be fall from grace. It can be returning to there's some with Jupiter closer to Ketu. Somebody going where they've been is what it looks like. It doesn't necessarily. I didn't mean from dust to dust. But yes, and now take into the fact that many of our leaders grew in a dead cult that they scared them the most about this. And so, but it looks like there can be certain falls from grace. There can be people having to give up leadership positions. or go to previous leadership position, but it's like it's something that the physical leadership position is kind of, yes, it's something that, or they might have, there's just something that is being purged from its physical manifestation. I'm not saying the person in general, but definitely the leadership position. Um, all in all, Jupiter is trining Saturn, so it's going to be in harmony with the time, in spirit of the time. Maybe somebody can even accept it as just retiring. If somebody dies, it's probably not going to be. They may even die of old age with this one. Um, but if somebody, let's say, has to retire or something like that, they might feel like anyway they wanted to retire or something of that sort. Um, but it's going to be sudden. Oh, Uranus on royal degree, Mercury on royal degree. Um, I don't know. It's going to be sudden, unexpected, sudden um, change. Um, no idea. More things about this. Yes, that's about what I see. Do you see anything like regarding Trump with that one? I don't know. I mean, Ketu is on his ascendant, so. But I think the main events are going to be with Uranus on his midheaven, so it's earlier. Now let's take a look at if there's anything more. No, I think it's 4 eclipses. 4 eclipses. Can we have a bigger look at this? Have the retrogrades. And we have the annual. That's what I see right now. For eclipses, the first one is a very big one, um, and the last one, the one before the last, will have Ketu conjoining Regulus. So it's going to be, well, the last two pinpoint Regulus. So some royal figures will have important events.